You know, so whoever gets it, whoever's listening, I know we had a couple of listeners and then we lost them. But that's all right. We all family, you know what I'm saying? But with Russell Westbrook, with not only just him, but you have these new trend now where it's nothing but men dressing up, wearing skirts. Now, on a normal basis, I can probably be able to ignore this, but when I see a trend setting of nothing but black men being pushed forward to the front, and you know, when they wear skirts, and when I take a look, like at the most recent incident with Russell Westbrook, with him in New York City wearing a skirt or dress, whatever the case may be, when you look at his face, he doesn't even look comfortable. Like, he doesn't even look like, if you look at his face, whisper, he doesn't look comfortable. It's as if he doesn't want to do it, but somehow he's being put up to this. Now, I'm not saying we should feel sorry for him because he makes millions of dollars and he could turn down the opportunity to put on a skirt or a dress. But what I see is that they are trying to damage the image of black men. They've been trying to damage the image of black men for years. They've been trying to damage the image of black women for years. Years upon years, what they've done with black women is that they've tried to damage the image of black women by uglifying their queen-like status. So black women have a queen-like status, and they are trying to, I wouldn't even say try, they've done it. I don't think that it's true, but they've definitely uglified the queen-like status that women have. By all of this propaganda, when we pushed out black power and black beauty, they gave us black is ugly and things like that. Through TV shows, through books, through presentations, through movies and things like that, billboards, all type of things. You know what I'm saying? What's up, Crazier79? I appreciate you for coming in. Appreciate you for coming in. So when you look at it, they're trying to damage the image of our black men. And what's the best way to destroy black men? The best way to destroy black men is to destroy them while they're boys so that they never become men. If you destroy a boy before he becomes a man, he won't become a man. He may grow up, he may grow beard and facial features, and his physical physique doesn't mean that he is a man. And so when we see Lil Nas X and LeBron James wearing wigs and Serge Ibaka wearing dresses, Kanye West wearing dresses, P. Diddy, Jamie Foxx has worn a dress before, Martin Lawrence has worn a dress more than once to make us laugh, Snoop Dogg, the one man who used to help uglify black women, he catered to that, is now wearing dresses. Just like a woman. Tyler Perry has done it so many times that people don't even identify him as Tyler Perry. We see him as Medea. Then you have Eddie Murphy. He's done it more than one time. The Wayne brothers, they've done it with white chicks. A$AP Rocky, Charles Barkley, it goes down the line, and these are just black men. These are celebrities that they're pushing out. They're now pushing out the everyday black man who chooses to dress in a skirt or something like that. They're not pushing that out. It's the celebrities. And the problem that I have with that, because they don't want us to have a problem with it. They want us to look at it and ignore it. But the problem that I have with it, and I will speak up because I'm a black man and I have a son. And I'm quite sure you guys have people who have sons, or you have sons of your own. You have nephews and such. The problem I have with that is, what does that do to the psyche of our black boys? As it stands, they say Russell Westbrook is the top dog when it comes to the way that he plays, as you know, in the NBA. They say that he's the hardest player. This is what his peers and media refer to him as. He's the toughest player in the NBA, the way that he plays. So now, when you take that tough player and you put a dress on him, what does that do? What does that say to the children, to the young black boys who followed this man, who value this man? They don't just see him as some regular human. They see him as superhuman because he's on TV every day and, he's got all these clothes and he's got this money. They see him and they want to be like that. What about those boys? What about those boys who don't have a father in the picture to combat that type of imagery that's given to him? What about those boys? And this affects our boys. It does affect them. It affects them in different areas. So it affects them mentally, spiritually, physically, and it affects them educationally. Let me tell you what I mean by that. So mentally, the way that it affects our boys, when we see men feminized that we look up to, our boys who will grow to be men will never fight oppression. They will never fight repression. They will never fight suppression. Black people are oppressed, repressed, and suppressed in this country. To be black in America is hard because we face so many things that other races don't face. We go through on a daily basis emotionally, and that other races don't go through emotionally. When you decide that you're not going to fight your oppression, what's going to happen is you'll be easily influenced. Our black boys can be easily influenced. And they'll be easily influenced. And when a man or a boy or a woman, when they are individual, period, when they are mind controlled, when you control the way a person thinks, you don't have to tell them to walk through a door. They will walk through the door on themselves once you control their mind and you put them out there. They'll walk through the door themselves. And as a matter of fact, they won't even, if they can't find a door to walk through, they'll build a door themselves to walk through. Because this is what brainwashing does. This is what brainwashing does. And so when our boys are easily influenced, they will not fight oppression, repression, or suppression. You understand? So that's the way it would affect our boys mentally. How would wearing dresses and feminizing our black men affect our boys physically? The way that they look at women. Our black boys will they will see our women as sexual objects that need to be dominated. They will see our women our women as sexual objects that need to be dominated with no long-term effect. Now, where did that come from? This is not natural for a black man. Like, naturally, black men love black women. Naturally, if you leave us in our natural environment, we love our black women. This has been shown. This is shown. We've been conditioned to hate our black women. We've been conditioned to look at our black women as them being so distasteful in the way that they look, the way that they act, the way they present themselves. We've been conditioned and taught that through colonization, through slavery, and through segregation, through propaganda, through the media. It's been constantly and consistently pushed and embedded and installed into the black man's mind that the black woman is no good, and all they do is complain and all this other stuff. And vice versa, the black woman has been conditioned. The black woman has been conditioned to think the same thing about the black man. So we will look at our black women as sex pieces. This would teach a whole bunch of irresponsibility, you know what I'm saying? And it's not a great thing. How would this affect our black boys, the feminization? Okay, it affects them spiritually. Your spiritual being is intelligence. Like, that is the intelligence. We have finite intelligence. God has infinite intelligence. Every human being needs to connect to his intelligence. They have an urgent need to connect to his or her intelligence. spiritually, our boys will begin to start having identity conflicts because they won't know who they are because of the fact that they have not connected to their intelligence, which is what God gave us, which is your spiritual being. They won't connect to it. And lastly, educationally, our boys they're going to remain subjugated. They're going to remain oppressed and suppressed. They won't, because of the fact that they won't know about their history. They won't know the contributions that they gave to this world, with science, with technology, engineering, arts, and athletics, and in mathematics. They won't know, and they won't figure out. They won't read about it. They won't be interested in it. They'll think of it as something in the past that doesn't need to be read, talked about, anything like that. It's just boring to them. They would much rather learn about being a feminine man. So you would just have these boys growing up to be feminine men. And what does that do? How are we going to reproduce as a race if you have black boys who are not attracted to black women, but they're attracted to a man that looks and dressed like a woman? How are we going to reproduce? You need a man, you need a woman to reproduce. So the best way to destroy a man is to deny him his opportunities to become a man. The best way to destroy a boy is to deny him opportunities to become a boy. You can't become a boy. You can't go from a boy to a man if you deny your opportunities. Warren G, what's good, brother? What's good, brother? What's good, brother? What's good, brother? Yeah, so what is it to be black in America? To be black in America means you're going to be highly tense. You're going to be overly anxious. You're going to consistently be fearful because of the fact of this bombardment that's coming at you from so many different angles. And because of the result of those four things of being anxious, fearful, anxious, you're going to be angry. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Warren just said it. You're going to be angry. You know what I'm saying? These are the things that's going to happen when it comes to being black in America. Like I said, when we see these men stand up and dress as women, as females on TV or in the billboards, in the public, understand that this is something that it's not just them doing this. They've been put up to it. This has been systematically planned. They've been doing this for centuries. But because we have the internet, things like that now, it's definitely, we can see it a lot. We can see it easily. At the touch of a finger, we can see this. You know what I'm saying? So we have to go into our communities and we have to grab back our black boys and teach them that being masculine is not a bad thing. We have to teach them that being mentally, that being a man is not just wearing pants and stuff like that. That being a man is your mental aspect, your physical aspect, your spiritual aspect, your educational aspect. And we can throw in economics as well. You know what I'm saying? That's a fact. That's a fact. Well, that's a fact, Warren. That's a fact. That's a fact. Swole was good. Thank you for joining, brother. That's a fact, Warren. You know what I'm saying? The fact of wearing dresses and wearing skirts, that's something that we did not originate. You know what I'm saying? We're talking about dressing up as women. People try to on Twitter, people try to throw out these different scenarios saying that when you graduate from school, you wear a cap and a gown, so you're actually dressing as a female. Like, that's not the same thing. That's not the same thing. We come from a heritage that created clothing. You know what I'm saying? We come from they created clothing. You know what I'm saying? So why? I mean, it's not one of the things that we labored for over here was picking cotton. I mean, cotton was king. They didn't just use cotton, you know what I'm saying, just to jump around in it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, most definitely it's buck breaking. It's buck breaking, and this is what they're doing. They're taking our men that we would look at as being dominant, like Dwayne Wade, like Serge Ibaka. We look at these men. These are 6'4", 6'8", big black swollen men, and they're doing this historically. They've done it, and they're doing it again. What they would do is, back in the times where slaves were being imported from Africa and dropped off different pieces all around the world, just like shattered glass. They were being dropped off in different parts of the world. And in the 1800s, I mean, our ancestors were a rebellion. Make no mistake about that. They were a rebellion. They were going against the system. Many of them fought back and was able to make it back home. And others fought back and made homes within the islands, the Maroons. All right. So what they would do is they would take these out of a group. Instead of fighting a whole group of about 2,000 people, 40 white men cannot defeat 2,000 people. That's not going to happen. But they started designing weapons, and what they started doing was they would take the leader out of that group, and they would break that leader. And as so long as you break that leader, now that does something to his followers. That does something to his followers. Psychologically and emotionally, that does something to his followers. So, in essence, you're breaking a group of people by breaking one man or breaking one woman. And this is what they're doing now. They're breaking the image of black masculinity, not Asian masculinity, not white masculinity, not Indian masculinity. They're trying to break the image, destroy the image of black masculinity and make it feminine. And then they want to hide it under the premise that this is just a fashion and we should be congratulating him. We should be happy for him. We don't have to be happy for him. We don't have to stand for this mess. We have to go in and we have to see what the problem is and we got to fix it. But as black men, just know that when we see these type of things, it sets us back about another 15 years. So for each man that gets up on TV, performs, raps, or anything he does to the public with a dress, it sets us back another 15 years. So if you got two men in one day, they didn't set us back 30 years each. 30 years in total. Absolutely, Dwayne Wade is paid to wear a dress as a female. Dwayne Wade was paid to. They all get paid. That be the people who design their attire, their dresses, V-necks coming down to their belly buttons. Like, what type of stuff is that? Those are Europeans designing this stuff. Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? So we have to go into our communities and we have to fix what is wrong. And it's bad that we got to continue to clean up behind sloppy seconds over here. You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is. We as black men have to define what the criteria is for black manhood, for masculinity manhood. So this means that in some sense, in a little bit, just a little bit, in some sense, I think black men, we got to take some sort of responsibility for this in some sense, because not all, but some black men, they push their boys to be, to dress in this type of attire, to live this type of lifestyle, because of the fact, like when they accomplish things, that's on a mental aspect, like a spelling bee, things like that. They become champion or something like that. We label them, you know what I'm saying? They're not really we don't give them the props that they deserve to have as for a young man who wins a championship in playing basketball or football. So if they're saying, hey, the epitome of being a man is that, and I playing sports, and I'm not good in sports, but I'm good at, athletic sports, and I'm not good at that, but I'm great at spelling that type of sport, and I don't get no props for this, maybe I'm not a man. If being an athlete is a man, and being a spelling bee champ is not a man, then what am I? You know what I'm saying? So we definitely have to take some sort of, just small. I don't think it's all, it's just small. But I think that's because, again, we've been conditioned that way. There's a reason. And that's for a whole nother video or a whole nother discussion. Yeah, man. But anyway, I think everybody that came through, that stopped by, I appreciate you guys. It's one love. It's always one love. Warren, one love. Swole, one love. Peace and blessings, my brother. Jaden, peace and blessings. And to my cousin, peace and blessings. I love you. 100% Shaquana. It's all love over here, man. And so let's just go and take our black boys back. Let's create the image of masculinity in a positive light. Let's congratulate our boys for every accomplishment that they make, everything that they do. And let's teach them how to be men. Let's show them. Rather that be your son, your nephew. That could be someone you can grab up and mentor. Let's teach our boys how to be men. Much love to everybody. Love y'all, 100. Peace.